Solving equations by factoring. So there's one main property that we're going to use to do this. It's called the zero factor property. And what it says is that if A times B equals 0, then A equals 0 or B equals 0. So let's think about that just with some numbers. So let's say I've got 5 times, I'm going to leave a little blank there, some number is 0. And let's even just fill in B. So if I have A is 5, 5 times some number is 0, what's the only way this can work? The only way that it can work is that if B is 0. So if A is 5, then B has to be 0. Or if I don't know what A is, and let's say B is 9 equals 0. Well, then A would need to be 0, even though B is some number. Doesn't really matter, I just randomly picked 5 and 9, just to show that if I have two numbers multiplied to be 0, only one of them needs to be 0. So that's why it's A or B needs to equal 0, not both of them. So how we're going to use this idea is to solve equations. So to solve by factoring, we're going to follow some steps to solve by factoring. So the first step, we're going to have to be able to use this property, we're going to have to set the equation equal to 0. Set the equation equal to 0. So get everything to one side, 0 on the other side. Then we are going to factor, because notice, like in our property, A times B, it needs to be things multiplied together. So then what we're going to do is set each factor, each of the things multiplied, each factor equal to 0. And then we can solve each equation to get our answers. Solve each equation. And then it's a good idea to check, like with solving any equation. So let's keep that up while we do an example. So let's say we're asked to solve the equation x squared plus 6x equals 16. So here's an equation where, normally we try to get the x alone and when it's linear, but now we have a squared, so I can't just get an x alone here. So I'm going to use these new steps that we just wrote out. So the first step, set the equation equal to 0. So first I'm going to subtract 16 on both sides. Put a little 1 for step 1. So x squared plus 6x minus 16 equals 0. So now we'll factor, because we want to break it into things multiplied. So this one, I'm looking for what multiplies to negative 16 and adds up to 6. So multiplies to negative 16 adds up to 6. So I'm thinking 8 and 2, a positive 8 and a negative 2 multiplies to negative 16 and that adds up to 6. So that means, I'll do this the grouping method. I'm going to split up my plus 6x to plus 8x minus 2x. Bring down minus 16. So out of the first two, I can factor out an x. Next two, factor out a minus 2. And I'll have x plus 8 times x minus 2. Okay, so step 2, I factored. So now step 3, set each factor equal to 0. So I'm going to take x plus 8, put that equal to 0. And then each factor, so it's like the things multiplied. So I'm looking at this times this. So each of those things I'm underlining with the squiggly line, each of those are set equal to 0. And then step 4 is to solve each. So subtract 8 from the first one, x equals -8. Add 2 on both sides to the second one, x equals 2. So I get 2 answers. So let's check, because this doesn't seem to make sense, because up to now, usually we solve equations and we only get one answer. So let's check -8. So -8 squared plus 6 times -8. That should equal 16. 64 and -48. Yep, that is 16. Now let's check 2. 2 squared plus 6 times 2, that should equal 16. 4 and 12, 4 plus 12, yep, that is 16, so it checks out. So that can happen because of, now we have the x squared. So it kind of has a different effect than just a linear equation where there was just an x. So in generally speaking, this isn't all the time, but generally speaking, if we have x squared, degree 2, then we typically get 2 answers. Again, not all the time, but a lot of the time we're going to get 2 answers. Okay, let's do another one. So this one, let's say I have 4x squared plus 20x plus 25 equals 0. I'm going to switch back to the single screen. So this one, first step's already done. It's already equal to 0. So on to step 2. I'm going to factor. So I'm looking for what multiplies to 100, and then what adds up to 20. So what multiplies to 100 and adds up to 20. So this would be a positive 10 and a positive 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 plus 10 is 20. So bring down 4x squared. I'm going to split my 20x into 10x and 10x plus 25. So now, out of the first two, I'm going to take out a 2x, left with 2x plus 5. Looks like second 2, I can take out a 5, and I'm left with 2x plus 5. Still have equals 0. 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 5 equals 0. So, plus 5. So if I set each of these equal to 0, 2x plus 5 equals 0. Oh, and it looks like the same thing. 2x plus 5 equals 0. And if you remember, this is a perfect square trinomial. So this one, if I solve this one for x, 2x equals -5 divided by 2. X equals, so I could leave it -5/2 or -2.5. So if I solve the other one, I'm going to get the same answer. So this one, I really don't need to keep going. So here's one case where I don't get 2 answers even though I have an x squared, because it ends up being the same answer. So last one, this is going to be an x cubed. Let's solve. X cubed equals 2x squared plus 3x. Okay, so first up I have to set everything equal to 0. Set the equation equal to 0. So I usually want to leave the highest degree term first. So let's subtract 2x squared and subtract 3x from both sides. So that I'm left with 0 on the right side. X cubed minus 2x squared minus 3x on the left. So it looks like first I can factor out an x. There's an x in each term, so let's factor out that greatest common factor, and I'll be left with x squared minus 2x minus 3. So now, multiplying to -3, adding to -2, so that's going to be a 3 and a 1, -3, +1. So break apart the minus 2 into a minus 3x plus x. Bring down minus 3. So I'm just going to do a little work out of the parentheses here. So out of the first two terms, factor out an x minus 3. Next two terms, nothing, so I'll put a 1, x minus 3. So that'll be x minus 3, x plus 1. And then I'm going to bring down the x that I kind of ignored for a minute. So now I'm at the step where I'm going to set each factor equal to 0. So in this case, I actually have 3 things multiplied. X times x minus 3 times x plus 1. 3 different factors. So that means 3 times I'm going to have to set my factors equal to 0. So x equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0, and x plus 1 equals 0. So the first one's already solved. The middle one, add the 3 over, so positive 3. And then the last one, subtract 1, x is negative 1. So I get 3 different answers, 0, 3, and negative 1, which means each of those x's, if we plugged them into the original equation, would end up working. They would make both sides of the equation equal. So you could check it out, but they should all work, all 3 answers. And like I said before, generally speaking, when it's a squared equation, we're going to get 2 answers. When it's a cubed equation, generally we're going to get 3 answers. Not all the time, but typically.